I really think we're onto something big. We just stumbled across it. And it was all led off by that Augustin Carsten's interview. And if you watch did you watch yesterday's video? If you watch yesterday's video, you hear him in that video that we're analyzing, clearly drawing lines in the sand and leaning for the first time that I've seen, because the BIS typically tries to remain neutral. And this all is making perfect sense. It sounds like they're starting to lean more towards the West, where before they're working with the Fed in the US, they're working with the Monetary Authority of Singapore. They got Project Enbridge. They got all these different projects. They were the one central bank where it looked like if anybody from the legacy system could achieve, full integration with the new financial system in a position where they have true global reach and could actually be utilized by the bulk of the globe, it would be the BIS. It doesn't sound that way anymore, but the way he said it and stuttered, right? It sounded like maybe there was more to it. It sounded like he was nervous about it. Maybe, and I put this out there, we're going to get to something. Trust me, this is all leading up to something. All right, I got a document in front of me. I read a bunch of documents today. We're going to get into that, okay? Because something is going on. I'm telling you. You tell me once you hear it. But it sounds like maybe somebody pulled rank on him. It's like, who's above the BIS? What's going on? It sounds like maybe someone was pulling strings behind the scenes, said, hey, listen, you're going to have to start kowtowing to us, leaning more towards us. We're losing the fight. I'm just putting it there. You're going to understand why I'm saying that in a moment. Then with them contemplating, remember the information that came out, we got to build this up to where it's going. Okay. So it makes sense. Remember, they had put out the information that they were considering stopping Project Enbridge. Project Enbridge obviously, involves I believe that's the one that involves a lot of the entities from the East, BRICS nation type entities, right? Make sure you look that up, but I think that's what it was. Now, that makes perfect sense if they're being forced to lean more towards the West, because the West right now is so far behind, they're losing. Now, don't get me wrong. I think behind the scenes, the U.S. in particular has something they're cooking up. That doesn't mean that they still won't throw a monkey wrench into the others' plans and say, hey, if they want to make an independent system of the West and cause fragmentation, we don't need to help them. I think that's what's going on. And we mean you, BIS, get over here with us. You know where you're supposed to be. Now, listen to this right here. This document, they actually released a lot of documents recently. Have you been reading these? And their verbiage in here tells me, in my humble opinion, I could be wrong, folks. I'm not a mind reader. I think they may have gone too far. I do. And I think they got pulled back. Someone yanked their collar and said, hey, you're going too far. This paper here is titled A Theory of Economic Coercion and Fragmentation. What? Just the title alone tells you they're about to drop some bombs. This is about to get serious. Whoever they talk about, they run the risk of offending. And I don't know if you've been noticing, folks, but a lot of these decision makers and politicians, etc., they're not how they used to make them. They're not built strong anymore. They're very emotional and very vengeful. But anyway, this is my humble opinion from what I've seen. This all is playing into what I'm about to unveil. Scroll down to the section that says findings. Listen to this. It says this, a quote, fragmentation doom loop, unquote, can emerge when multiple countries attempt to reduce their dependence on a dominant power, leading to inefficient global fragmentation and welfare losses. That one sentence is so powerful. First of all, let's not kid ourselves. When they say this, a fragmentation doom loop, we've already hit it. Janet Yellen was complaining about this all last year. We've heard multiple economists talk about this. And then what are we seeing? Not only did they complain about it last year when there was much less fragmentation, but at the same time, it has only continued. More and more countries are developing their own financial alternatives to SWIFT, their own DOT systems, their own local digital currencies. You do know when they talk about that means all of those countries over there in the BRICS nation, they're trying to bring a whole heap of them into BRICS nations. That means they're all going to have their own currencies, right? And this lesser system of the the double system. Of course, on top, they're going to have the common BRICS currency, just what they claim. And then on the bottom, on the bottom layer, they'll have the local digital currencies, which is more key than anything. That's a doom loop. It starts like this and it breaks down smaller. The fragmentation is ongoing is what it means. That's already here. So already in one sentence, they're telling us more than what a lot of these other official entities have been willing to say. None of them have gone this far to say doom loop. Don't worry. That's not the big thing. Wait, we're going to get there. This is potent. Wait a minute, folks. I'm telling you, I think they went too far. Now, it says here, let's not kid ourselves. When it says when multiple countries, of course, that means BRICS nation. Who else is doing this? And then there's smaller factions within the BRICS nations making their own systems within the BRICS nations. It's unbelievable what's going on. That's who they're talking about. Multiple countries attempt to reduce their dependence on a dominant power. Who's the dominant power? It's the U.S. Sure, Europe is right there. No, it's the U.S. The U.S. calls the shots. The U.S. sends the shots. You know what I'm talking about. It's the U.S. They're talking, but they're not saying names. But come on now. At this level, we're playing chess here. This does not work on the people at the top level. They know. It's not about calling names. They know. They're like, wait a minute now. How far you want to go with this? Maybe the BIS got a little bit arrogant. Maybe I don't know. We'll get there. Let's continue on. There's much more. It says, listen to this, leading to inefficient global fragmentation. They're talking about the legacy system. If the legacy system has inefficient global fragmentation, what does that mean, folks? I'm asking questions. All right, well, let me tell you what I think. While you type it, while you let me know. That means that these systems are breaking down. They will no longer be able to function properly as they used to, even though there was a lot of negatives with how it used to function. But it's going to degenerate at a rapid pace, leading to inefficient global fragmentation and welfare losses. There's going to be a lot of losses across the board. Sure, this is a rather all-encompassing word here they want to use, welfare losses. What do you think that means? When you're talking about an inefficient global fragmentation, not just in the financial system, but they're talking about across the board, but mostly the financial system. You might say, wait a minute, Mick, wait. They didn't say financial yet. Right here in the next sentence, I told you there's more. These documents, they were telling. Right here, listen to this right here. See, here they're going to get deep. Financial services with their global reach and limited alternatives are a key tool of economic coercion. Oh, you better get ready. They're about to drop it. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, listen. I know I'm hyped. I'm sorry. I'm hyped. I'm trying to make you feel it, but I shouldn't really try to make you feel it. But this is exciting stuff. We're on to something, folks. I'm telling you, when you've been working hard and you're researching, you're a detective, and then you discover something, you're like, oh, this is getting good. Let me have a little bit of fun. But listen to this. It says, with their global reach and limited alternatives are a key tool of economic coercion. Empirical evidence highlights that the United States, then they dropped the name. The United States exerts its dominance primarily through financial services, while China relies more heavily on its manufacturing trade as the source of its influence. Now, wait a minute. Let's not kid ourselves here. Now, if I was on the United States government side, and I was looking at this, I was on the United States Central Bank side, I would start weighing this to myself and saying, wait a minute, BIS, you've been working a lot with China. You've been working a lot with the BRICS nations. You've been working a lot with everybody. You do work with us, but very little with us. Sure, you have your headquarters, whatever that was, the BIS Innovation Hub in the East Coast of U.S., sure. But you've been getting those other projects for years off the ground in those other nations. See, I think they took umbrage to this. And now there's some pressures behind the scenes because they're like, wait, where's your loyalty lie? And I'm telling you, when the world powers start looking at you and ask you, where did your loyalty lie? And they can take actions against you. It will make a person think once or twice. It depends on how strong your mind is, your spirit is. But they could put that pressure on you. And now the BIS looks like they're walking back towards the West side. You know, they're going to be throwing up their dubs soon, talking about the West side is the best side. But now, wait. But look at what they admitted here. This is what I'm talking about. Listen to this. So empirical evidence highlights that the United States exerts dominance, but then they preceded that by saying economic coercion is a key tool of financial services globally. Whoa, that's a heck of a powerful statement from the Bank of International Settlements. That's what I'm talking about. So now, how does this affect, boiling this all down? Because I know somebody may have not made it this far. They're like, what does it have to do with the bank coin? It has everything to do with the bank coins. Fragmentation equals interoperability, the need for interoperability. Who's the best at interoperability? We have Quant, we have XRP. Quant has overledger for XRP. XRP could, if they utilize RippleNet, could do interoperability on its own via its own deployments. I mean, not XRP, Ripple, my apologies. Ripple, Volante, SBI, Uphold, that whole connection there. I don't need to name the other companies involved. So you have that. Chainlink, Flare is in the game if they complete what they need to complete. Solana's in the game. There's so many. This affects all of them. If they are admitting that there is a fragmentation doom loop, this once again, we're learning information that gets us closer and closer to what could be a certainty that these things are going to explode because of their sheer dominance. Because not dominance. Let me not say dominance. I like that. It feels good to say dominance, but it's true. But there should be a better word for that. Can I say the sheer necessity of them? I mean, they're going to become necessary at some point. Man. Wait. They go deeper, folks. And it's like, I didn't want to take too much of this video. I wanted to make this shorter video. I know you have all this political stuff going on today, so I'm not sure how many people are going to actually come through to view the video today, but I still want to get work done. Now, listen to this. Hegemonic powers like the United States and China exert influence on other countries by threatening the suspension or alteration of financial and trade relationships. Listen, now you may say, well, Mick, why would you think that the United States, entities within the United States may take offense to this or umbrage to this? It's not necessarily about what's said. It's about the BIS showing, certain loyalties through their actions and showing certain non-loyalties through their verbiage. Now, that's key there because you need them as a mechanism to maneuver around the world. You do. But you may say, well, why would you say that about the United States and not China? Because they've been working so much with China. In Hong Kong, with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, in a lot of areas, they've been working in the BRICS nations. And there's been results. There's been multitude of testing, pulling things together. The BIS is good at what they do, for sure. They've worked with Stellar. They've worked with Ripple. They've worked with R3. They've worked with a cadre of different bank coin companies. They continue to work with Quant over there in the UK on certain very, very big projects. Quant is going to be very, very big, in my humble opinion, not financial advice. That's why. So China doesn't have to worry about anything. They don't have to worry about this. The United States may say, wait, why are you trying to leave us behind? I don't know. I'm playing with thoughts here. And I think the BIS there may be some backlash because of things like that. This is one. There's been a lot of their verbiage has been like this. They released a lot of documents recently. You just got to, it's like you got to click through on the one page and then it goes through to a document, click on the document. Then it's a bunch of documents there, like links to the document saying, now, wait. It says, we show that the mechanisms that generate gains from integration. What do you mean by that? It says, such as, I know, immediately someone else is thinking something else. I'm thinking capital, value, but I know it could mean something else. Such as external economies of scale and specialization also increase these countries' power to exert economic influence because in equilibrium, they make other relationships poor substitutes for those with a global hegemon. Now, wait a minute. Now, see, there was something interesting in that video yesterday that we were analyzing. If you listen to what Carson's was saying, and he was like, well, we're not going to work with any countries that are sanctioned, which obviously then that will affect Project Enbridge because, although China is not sanctioned, they're heavily affiliated with certain countries that are sanctioned because of their economic ties. So then there's all of that complication there. So it's like, do you just walk away from it all? I mean, if you're going to walk away from Enbridge, then what else are you going to walk away with? But then that leaves trillions of dollars on the table for the private sector. The private sector. Then he said something else that was interesting. It was about the information. And, he was saying how, well, what we've done so far is a global good. It was something about the data. I can't remember specifically, but it sounded like, you know how a lot of these companies, they'll do away with their DLT systems and then they'll open source it so everybody can use it. I think that's I think that the information that they collected on how these systems works with this variety of central banks, I don't think it's a one-way street with the BIS as far as receiving information from Ripple or R3 or Stellar, learning from them. I don't think it's a one-way street. I think they're all in cahoots. I think the BIS shares information with them as well. Right. So it's like, well, maybe some of these companies, Quant, Ripple, Solana, if they have if they have good relationship with the BIS, they don't have to necessarily do all of this independent testing on their own. Then they could just take a look at the actual data that's coming from experiments that have been ongoing for years from the BIS and other entities like that. And then they can use that to proceed forward. You see, there's so much here going on, man. Well, I wish we had more time, folks. I really do. I wish we had more time. But we're going to get here. So let's do we have a little bit of Chainlink and a little bit of Bitcoin. I'm not sure how long this video is right now, but let's go here. All right. And I hope you're all going to be safe out there today. I hope you're all going to be, just stay safe, folks. I hope to see all of you here tomorrow, watching the video and stuff like that. And there's no trouble. All right. Because I know how these things go around these times. So just be careful out there. If you're going to be out there, be careful out there, please, folks. All right. So now this article was titled, look at this. Chainlink is so bullish. It's unbelievable. Swift, UBS, Chainlink pilot tokenized fund settlement. This was posted 9 hours ago. It says here, Swift, UBS, and Chainlink aim to modernize traditional finance by enhancing tokenized fund processes with blockchain. Go, Chainlink, go. I'm ready. Come on, keep it going. In a key development under the Monetary Authority of Singapore's Project Guardian, Swift, UBS Asset Management, and blockchain Oracle Network Chainlink have completed it. Oh my goodness, what am I saying? Completed a pilot for tokenized fund settlement. The initiative uses Swift's global finance messaging network encompassing over 11,500 institutions. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of institutions that no longer have global reach that are going to need it. It says to integrate tokenized fund processes with existing fiat payment systems, unlike other tokenization pilots, the project enables transactions without blockchain-only payment options. We don't need blockchain-only payment options. You don't. You look at a system like Quant, for example. You can pay in fiat or you can pay in Quant, QNT. Either way, no matter what you pay with, it's going to result in QNT, right? You pay with that fiat, it goes into the system. Quant, as an institution, converts that fiat into QNT. So QNT has to be used no matter what. But what it shows importantly is that it doesn't necessarily need to be blockchain-only payment options. I think that's the reason why you have stablecoins going all around, these dollar-peg stablecoins, is because the legacy system wants, some sort of legacy familiar payment option. That's what they want. So you give it to them. So why not? You could have it do it. You could do it through a stable coin. You could do it through regular fiat. Either way, we win. Promoting digital finance through existing infrastructure. The pilot aligns with recent statements from Chainlink co-founder Sergey Nazarov at the Swift organized CBOS conference on October 23rd, where he discussed the potential blockchain integration with Swift. Boom. If that's not bullish, I don't know what is, folks. I don't know what is. All right, now. So now let's get to this Bitcoin news. What are they saying about Bitcoin today? What's going on with the big dog today? This article begins as such. Investor Anthony Pompliano calls Bitcoin gold with wings. Says Bitcoin, the savings account of the new generation. I don't know about that, but I like that wing stuff. Let's see it fly a little bit. Let's see Bitcoin fly. I think it was looking a little bit green today. Also, they have a picture here with it's like an eagle. I don't know why is there an eagle here. Is it is it because of the bald eagle of the United States? Is that it? I don't know. But anyway, they have an eagle with a Bitcoin chain on, like a rock star with a leather jacket. It actually looked pretty cool. So I'm bringing it up. It actually looks pretty cool. It's a good picture. Anyway, I like cool stuff. Can you blame me? Longtime crypto bull Anthony Pompliano believes that the flagship digital asset Bitcoin is gold on steroids. Hey, you talk a little bit like me. I say stuff like that. Is this on steroids? That comes from the old school. We used to say stuff like that. If something was good, if it was better, if it was, bigger, whatever, we were like, oh, it's on steroids. It's just a method of speaking. It says in a new interview on Fox Business, the founder of venture capital firm Pomp Investments says that the debasement of the US dollar is bullish for both Bitcoin and gold, but the flagship crypto asset could outperform the precious metal due to increasing adoption. Quote, if you look at gold and S&P 500 over the last 5 years, the compound annual growth rate is about the same. Gold is up 13%. And the S&P is up 14%. Bitcoin has destroyed that. And so I like to say that Bitcoin is gold with wings. Bitcoin and gold both go up for the same reason. I'm going to let a lot of stuff slide today. They're debasing the dollar, but Bitcoin is much more sensitive. It's an earlier asset that the world is trying to price in. What's very unique about Bitcoin is that it's a bottom-up story. Most technology goes top-down. Militaries and governments, they adopt it first, then corporations, and then finally individuals. I was saying, remember we were covering stuff like this over the summer? Those contracts, the utility, wait until those private contracts come through. And oh man, I read you the stuff from the military about the military use, right? And testing. Ooh, we were cooking over the summer, I'm telling you. They get a smartphone or they get a computer on their desk, they're the last ones. Bitcoin was the opposite. The individuals got it first. Now we're seeing corporations and financial institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity start to adopt this. Eventually, it's going to be central banks and it's going to be governments. Central banks today own 12% of the global gold supply. I believe that they will eventually start to buy Bitcoin. That would be very bullish for the price of Bitcoin, unquote. I agree with that. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.